Long time no see.
Welcome back to the Peterson Odyssey. We are here in our 2021 Crafter tackling this week's mini challenge that we're gonna...
After a long hiatus.
Yeah. We've not done much in the van for the last couple of weeks because we have been waiting for the panel beating, which starts this Tuesday. And we've just been busy with some family stuff and life. Just been busy, so we are just trying to get one little job done before we send the van off to get fixed. Yep, we're going to take you through the beginning to the end of how we're going to line our shelf area above the cab, which is where you're sitting, to just to make it look a bit tidier, I suppose. So what we're dealing with, this is our factory installed shelf that came. We wanted this and we paid for this when we got the van. Up above, it's got a nice carpet lining. It's got a couple of bits of sound dampening. And it's not a huge space. You can't really see. But what we are just trying to figure out is, we know we just want this to be a main storage space. We'll probably put some kind of... Oh, I'm caught up in the wires. We'll probably put some kind of cover over here, whether it's a cabinet... quite small, whether it's just an open space that we then tuck stuff into, not quite sure, but this is what we're trying to figure out.
Here is fine because I guess you just tuck it in under the under this thing. The
tuck what in under here? What's the
carpet, whatever we're going to put on this.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And you want the carpet to come up?
Yeah, probably just up to the edge.
Do you want it to wrap around this? Do you want to cover this in carpet?
No, because we're going to...
Put the ceiling up to here.
Yeah, it's probably going to end about here.
Do you want to put some more Kel mat in here?
Might as well.
Okay, so I undid these bolts up here. Where are they? There. With the intention of seeing if we could lift this up and kind of insulate underneath. We can't. That little screwed in piece, where is it? Down there, is screwed in from underneath. This is like molded, plastic molded thing, so we're just going to leave it. So I'll put the bolts back in, and then our plan is now to measure up these spaces and up here, and I think we're just going to line this with a black fabric, like an automotive carpet that we found at our local Para Rubber. We want the van to be as warm as possible, so we're insulating with green sheep wool insulation available in New Zealand. So this is the headliner felt we got from Para Rubber. Ideally we would have got black, but this is what they had. We got a 2 metre long piece, we got 1.5 meters, which is way more than what we'll ever need, but it just means that if we make a cut and we get the wrong dimension somehow, then we can have a little bit of extra to play with. What I'm going to do now is cut out enough to do this 2 side pieces, and honestly I'm just going to glue it up there, I think, stretch it out, smooth it out, and then use my, this might be a crazy idea, then use my sewing scissors just to trim off the edges so we've got the 2 side pieces covered, and then pull the largest piece up from the back. So fingers crossed, that's a logical plan, only time will tell. So this is the adhesive we're using. We've used this in other parts of our insulation, so now I'm just going to spray this up on the wall. It stinks, and you're supposed to do it in a ventilated place, so we figured a sliding door should be sufficient ventilation. Alright, I'm just going to let that sit for a minute or so. Whee! Far out, that's pretty horrific. Do not sniff. Okay, so spray the inside of the van. Now it's time to do the underside of the... So that just needs to sit for 5 minutes, and then may as well cut the other piece. We've got one tacky piece with a nice side, got up here that's all nice and tacky. I'm going to start trying to get this guy in. So we have one side done, and then this one has this cord. So Daryl's suggestion, which I think is a really good one, is I've just started in here with the glue, and then I'm going to cut a piece out here, and then glue around this. moved out to the deck to lay this out, because this is going to be the piece for the headliner, you know, the main part. Gerald's had a good idea to get my tailor's chalk from sewing, so we've just marked out the square, and the good thing about felt is you can clearly see where to cut. Oops, watch yourself, there's a little raised edge, so I'm just going to use these are sewing scissors, but I guess normal scissors would do, but they're just a bit sharper. And then our next bit is once we've got this cut, we're going to cut a slit up the middle to go around the antenna. There's only one. Have this up, we've got this side up. This side got a little bit less tacky, so I've just resprayed it and just letting that sit there for a sec. And what we realised is coming in, we had to go from the middle like it's the spine of a book and then do each half. So what I'm doing here is just currently using my hands to spread it out, and then very shortly, I didn't know that this was what this was going to be for, but it's our arms aren't quite long enough. And then down in there we've got some excess fabric to cut off, but actually on the whole,
I don't know how we're going to be able to cut it though, darling.
I don't know either. I feel like it's
stays there.
A 9-year-old niece, get up there, see what you can do, but I don't want her to go up there while we're while it stinks. I love it. It looks so good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Knew this was a good little Saturday afternoon job with excess fabric. I like it.
What's that icon there?
Low battery. It's a sign. It's probably as fun. We might stop here because I think we're pretty much finished as much as we're going to do. Batteries are running low. I don't know if I mean the camera or us, but pretty much we'll pick up again next week. We are probably moving on to insulation. I think we've said that in about 3 videos.
We also may not have the van next weekend.
Yeah, well, when I say next week, it's just going to be next week for you, but it's probably 2 weeks for us because the van's off to get its panel beating and it will come back looking chef's kiss. Alright, ka kite.